Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I was going to say good morning, but things have shifted, so now I'm officially in the afternoon. So 5 and 25, what does that mean? What I'm going to do for the next 25 minutes, I know, George, I said 20 minutes, but 5 and 25 just sounded a lot better, so I'm going to go with it. And I'm going to talk about 5 key considerations for AI success based on our experiences with customers and just generally. So I've been to this event 3 times, London, San Francisco, and now in New York City. And, you know, it's always interesting to me. There's so much buzz. Everybody comes here to find out, you know, what is the latest and greatest technology? You know, where's AI going? Everybody wants to find the latest tool or the latest platform. And in fact, the last time that I was presenting, there was a presenter from NASA who was talking about leveraging AI technologies in order to build next-generation spacecrafts to be able to send people to Mars in, you know, the near future. And, you know, just so I would have it, this was the presenter, you know, previous to when I was getting on stage, and I was thinking to myself, oh my God, this guy is sending people to Mars. You know, what am I doing? You know, and so, you know, my day-to-day job as a product executive at Oracle is, you know, probably less glamorous and less exciting than trying to send people to Mars, but no less important. So what do? I, you know, work with our customers to make sure that they can achieve, you know, some success with their AI deployments and use cases, whether it's something as simple as automating a sales process or optimizing a customer acquisition process. And the funny thing is that after each one of these events, what happens is customers always come up to me after everything that they've seen and learned, and they just say, okay, how do I get started? Or how do I make sure that I'm successful? Do you have any strategies? Do you have any tips or tools to help me with my AI deployments or projects that are going on within my company? So here goes. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty, and we're going to look at 5 key things today. We're going to talk about know your why, decide whether you're going to build or buy, inject transparency for trust, that's a big topic. Definitely go all in on the cloud. And once all these steps are in place, we're going to talk about the importance of investing in what we call smart data, which really is the lifeblood of AI success. And as Kirk was saying, we're going to welcome some special guests to the stage, and we're going to talk about smart data and the success of using smart data in AI deployments. Okay, so know your why. I know that this is very fundamental and probably very basic, but how many of you have actually thought through your goals and your purpose? And what does AI or an AI project mean for you and your company? Everyone really feels the urge to jump on the AI bandwagon. You know, everybody's doing it. Everybody wants to build that chatbot for some reason and doesn't even maybe really know why are we going to build that chatbot. But it's really important to, you know, examine and understand really what's good for your business and understand what does ROI mean for you and also why you might be doing that. So we're at the very early stages of AI deployment. It's going to take a while to get it right, and I think you're going to hear a very similar theme, you know, throughout this conference. So don't worry if you haven't started, but don't do AI for AI's sake. You know, just not a good idea. Don't try to achieve everything at once. You know, have clear goals, you know, based on your domain expertise and on your business. And as I was saying, understand, you know, what you know, ROI means for you within a reasonable time frame. AI is a journey, and it's measured in purposeful steps. And adoption, you know, really has to take into account not only executive sponsorship within your companies, but also trust. Users need to be able to trust, you know, the machine and the use cases, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Remember, too, that ROI is not only monetary. You know, you can measure ROI in terms of productivity gains or any other kind of metric. So keep that in mind. Be realistic about your business needs. For example, you know, is it more efficient? You know, do you want more efficient hiring for your succession planning needs? Or, you know, are you trying to manage your risk in your supplier network? Or try to think about the parts of your business, you know, where you want to achieve better margins and could benefit from some kind of automation. Or where are you making a high percentage of mistakes, right? And, you know, that could be improved. Or similarly, you know, what do your people or even yourself really not like to do, where automation or optimization can play a role. I mean, I know for myself, it's actually submitting and approving expense reports. So start to think about all of the different use cases that are meaningful, not only to your business, but to yourself. All of them are valid use cases. You just, no one is more important than the other. Just start to think about, what is important to you and know your why. Okay, so build versus buy. Now that you have decided with some certainty, what your AI use cases might be, the next question that you would start to think about is, well, should I build or should I buy? I mean, this is a classic, enterprise applications message. And it essentially boils down, to two things. You're either going to build your own use cases and solutions, or you're going to invest in pre-built applications. So let's take a look and first talk about build. So if you have unique use cases or specialty industry data needs, it might make sense for you to build. It's also, before you decide to build, make sure you check. It's also important to know if there are any commercially available pre-built applications out there, and it might, be useful for you rather than building something from scratch. If you have a strong, bespoke culture of development and a team of data scientists readily available, I kind of smile at that concept, then of course, building might be the way to go. But if not, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be expensive to hire data scientists. And then you have to also invest in other technologies, platforms, for compute, TensorFlow, Solar, Kubera, all those different technologies. So if you are a builder and you have decided that that is the route that you want to go, you might think about investing in a cloud-based data science platform that provides shortcuts, with tools or data management services, and can actually take some of the heavy lifting off the table for you. Now, as far as buying is concerned, as the AI market is maturing, over and over, the last, years and months, more and more vendors are delivering pre-built applications that might address some of the use cases, that you're trying to figure out within your own organizations. So if there is a use case available in a prepackaged application, think about buying. You should buy. It provides a lot of advantages. I mean, definitely, low barrier to entry, as we all know, shorter time to value. You can get near immediate results. Accounts for that dreaded, data wrangling, that we all know is one of the key ingredients of AI success. And many solutions come bundled with pre-built third-party data in order to help, optimize, outcomes. The other thing to think about is that when you buy a pre-built application, it transfers the risk to the vendor, right, that's providing that application, the risk of maintaining the application, of tuning and refining the data science, validating the data volumes, the quality of the data, and also any kind of compliance issues with global or local privacy regulations. You won't have to invest in data scientists, you won't have to invest in development platforms, and you don't have to buy any architectural components in order to maintain and integrate your application. So there are a lot of cloud vendors, including Oracle, that already deliver many of these pre-built, ready-to-go applications across the gamut, everywhere from customer experience to HCM to ERP, and bake in these best practices. So for example, one of my customers is Laura Ashley, who's a well-known customer. And the interesting thing is they really needed to increase their revenue in their online channel and better understand their customer buying behaviors. And they invested in pre-built solutions from Oracle. Well, first and foremost, they're a retailer, right? I mean, they don't have a large, development culture. They don't have a large group of data scientists, nor the resources to invest in building that up. So it made sense to them. So they invested in some of our pre-built applications for next best product recommendations and offers and content in order to more immediately help their business and start to drive that revenue, which was their ultimate goal, and to help make their customer buying experiences more efficient. So I think the message here today is, think about what it takes to build, and also, how to do it efficiently, if that's what you want to do. Think about whether or not it makes sense for you to buy. But the truth is it doesn't have to be an either or. It can really be both. You can build your more unique, bespoke applications where, everybody thinks they're special, I understand, but where you have very specific, industry or special data needs, or buy, where there's a use case that's commercially available for you off the shelf with one of the AI application vendors. Okay, next concept is very important to AI, and it's all about transparency. So how do I trust the machine output? How do I trust that what the machine is telling me, whether it's an action or a decision or a recommendation? What's needed is transparency in order to establish trust. And transparency is about how the algorithm or the model, derived that output, some kind of explainability as to how the output was delivered. So as users, we don't want deep dives into the algorithm, right? But we want insights into how the machine got there in terms of the data inputs that were used or the processes that were taken. And that gives us comfort, and that gives us trust. Let's take a fraud detection use case. I mean, humans don't need to know, how the machine, determined the fraud. But what we all want to know are what were the signals or the clues or anomalies that led to the suggestion of fraud. And that's important for us to know. So how do you introduce transparency in order to build trust into your AI use cases, your AI solutions? Well, one way to think about doing that is with supervisory management and insights that are built right into the use case of the application. And as end users, again, we're not developers, but we want some sense of control over the application, some sense of control over the machine. We want to be able to refine or adjust outcomes based on our business needs. So again, another example, back to CX, if I'm a marketer, I want to be able to have some control to boost or adjust or constrain a product in order to meet a specific business objective. If I'm trying to get rid of some inventory in my stores, I want to be able to boost and have the control to boost to go above and beyond what the machine would recommend and increase the likelihood, right, that the machine will recommend that product that I'm trying to get rid of. So again, the machine doesn't know that I'm trying to get rid of inventory, but as a marketer or a merchandiser, I want to have that sense of control. Same thing in the world of procurement. If we take a procurement use case, one of the things you can leverage AI to do, and is one of the use cases that Oracle's actually bringing to market, is you can use AI to categorize suppliers in terms of their supplier risk, if you're trying to manage your supplier network or your supply chain. So by providing users with an understanding of the types of data that are used to categorize suppliers, whether it's credit scores or whether it's leverage, the percentage of business that a supplier does with you. What this does is it gives you more confidence, as to why the machine categorized that supplier in a particular way. And last and certainly not least, anytime you introduce a human element, into any kind of AI proposition, you're increasing the risk of bias. So you might be defeating the purpose, right, of having the machine perform the work, that was mimicking the human behavior in the first place. So you have to be careful with that. You don't want to rule or over give users too much control. So we might not ever want to get to 100% transparency, and you really need to think about explainability as an ongoing quest that might never be completely achieved. Important to have, but maybe not go all the way 100% because of some of these other considerations. Okay, number 4, go all in with cloud. I think it goes without saying that many of you here probably work, with cloud infrastructures or cloud applications. It's become a part of our mainstream everyday kind of business life and technology. Oops, sorry. Went a little too fast there. Okay. So with AI, AI obviously use cases are quite complex, and they need huge volumes of high quality data in order to be successful. And the performance of the compute that's needed to run these types of applications is critical, right? And it's made it a necessity. So just like in enterprise applications, AI applications need cost-effective compute, and they also need a lot of the benefits of cloud-based infrastructure. So, elastic scalability or airtight security and high performance. You want the outcomes of the results of the machine to be able to be delivered and scale even globally if you're a global company, and very, very quickly. I don't know why it keeps doing that. So the ultimate goal, of delivering AI in the cloud or AI as a service, stay. Okay, listen to me. is it's really simple economics. You know, it comes down to simple economics. Oh my goodness. Okay, simple economics. So, you know, another benefit of providing AI solutions in the cloud or as cloud services is, you know, the benefit of the availability of services, you know, through standard APIs. So public cloud providers, you know, are exposing these APIs and services that dismiss the need to create, you know, custom models and also to train, you know, custom models. So if you're building, then some of these, you know, cognitive, you know, compute APIs for speech or for vision or translation or text analytics, you know, are readily available through REST endpoints, right? And can be to developers and can be incorporated or integrated into your applications with just one API call. So that's another reason why being in the cloud is extremely important. You might be able to build those chatbots after all and build them really quickly. So last and certainly not least, you know, one of the other benefits of moving to the cloud is the ability to easily ingest data. And I can't overemphasize this enough. Not only are you ingesting huge volumes of high quality data in order to drive the machine output, but you need to surface your outcomes across different platforms, and that outcome has to be coordinated across different pillars and outcomes. They could be all cloud, or they could be hybrid cloud deployments. You know, you might have to surface outputs, you know, on an on-premise application and also, you know, in a cloud application. So being able to do that, you know, in the cloud makes that coordination and that accessibility extremely easy, whether it's ingesting data or surfacing, you know, those coordinated outcomes. The other thing too is you might want to access third-party data. So, you know, in many cases, you know, you're leveraging your first-party data, but you might want to access third-party feeds. So that's extremely important as well, and that makes, you know, AI in the cloud extremely attractive. So last and certainly not least, we're going to talk about smart data, and it's a very critical topic for AI adoption. You know, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to invite my guests to join me on stage. Bastian Janmaat, who is the CEO of Datafox, which is a company that was recently acquired by Oracle, and Craig Maraskin, who is a managing director of innovation at Deloitte. Well, welcome, Baz and Craig. Thank you for being here. I thought it would be a great idea, than rather listening to me talk about smart data, that we would go directly to the source. Bastian has been the founder and CEO of a smart data startup for at least 6 years now, recently acquired by Oracle. And Craig has been one of Datafox's customers and has used their smart data to help drive successful AI adoption and projects. So maybe you could just give yourselves a quick introduction and tell us a little bit about, you know, what you do and why you're here.
Sure. As Melissa mentioned, I lead up our innovation group, corporate innovation group at Deloitte. Actually, we do three things. One is we help to drive the digital transformation of our business, actually what we offer, how we sell and deliver our services, as well as how we operate our business. The second thing we do as an innovation organization is we incubate new solutions, platforms, and we tend to leverage relationships with third-party providers, often startups, but also very large firms. And the third thing we do is we drive sensing for our firm. And by that we mean we're constantly on the lookout for new market and technology trends that'll have significant impacts on our business as well as our clients. And a big part of that is continuously scanning the marketplace for new technologies and new startups.
Baz?
My name is Bastian. Happy to be here. Thank you all for being here. I'm the CEO of Datafox. I founded the company about 5-6 years ago. We were acquired in October by Oracle. What we built at Datafox was an AI-powered data engine that can consume all kinds of unstructured content about companies, structure that all, and then help our clients through a software portal that we provide. Clients like Deloitte, Goldman Sachs, Twilio, they use us to pinpoint and prioritize companies that they should be doing business with, either marketing to or selling to, investing in, and to do so in a very data-driven manner.
So maybe as the CEO of a smart data company, you can just tell us a little bit about what is smart data? What are we calling smart data in your idea? What is this thing?
Yeah, and a couple of keywords on the slide here, but really the way I describe smart data is data that is precise, that's continuously refreshed, and maybe most importantly, it's integrated into your systems. It's embedded in your systems so that people who in your company need access to that data have it readily available. And it's important for data-driven decision-making, and it's especially important for artificial intelligence. And I think that's one of the things that I've noticed over the years is that companies are spending literally billions of dollars on their AI strategies, hiring data scientists, building centers of excellence, and investing in the algorithm part, and too often forgetting to match those AI investments with data investments, because it really is garbage in, garbage out if you don't have coherent data flowing into your systems.
Do you have any examples that you want to share with us?
I think it'd be good to go to Craig for
Okay.
some of the examples.
Sure. Your use of smart data.
Sure, and when we use smart people use smart data, I think. So you know, when we talk about AI broadly, sort of, I think for Deloitte, you know, AI is a means to an end. We don't use AI because it's just another shiny new toy. We use it to do what we have always done, which is try to solve problems for our clients, create new opportunities, mitigate risks, and create and capture value for our clients and frankly for ourselves. And so we use AI, we think smartly for that, and our reward comes, you know, whether we use natural language processing or machine learning or computer vision to get to a particular answer, you know, whatever works best for the clients, that's what motivates us. But in terms of how we would use smart data, just one example, our Datafox example, is that as mentioned, you know, what we try to do, and part of my role, is to try to look out on the horizon, see who's out there and what technologies might be brewing in the broader global ecosystem and how we might leverage those for ourselves and for our clients. And really trying to mine the global ecosystem of technology startups, it's really challenging because there's massive amounts of data out there. And so we were trying to do that somewhat on our own, and we effectively start to become a data aggregator, trying to go navigate all the myriad sources globally, try to mash it together, try to get it to work. And you know, it was just became more and more complex for us. And the data was, you know, not just vast, it was really just messy and really hard to deal with and really hard to wrangle. So we sought out sort of a one-stop shop to help us really find those needles in the haystacks, those technology startups that we saw great value in working with. So we reached out, we found Datafox, and Datafox really helped us quite a bit. And sort of, you know, as many of you have probably experienced, so if you can get sort of your data from a reliable source on a continuous basis and really trust the data, going back to Melissa's points, you know, that's really sort of changed the game for us. And the way that we're able to configure the Datafox data streams into our own relationship management systems now allows us to, in a much, much more efficient way, more quickly identify those startups literally around the world, you know, based upon some key factors such as investments, talent acquisitions, product launches, et cetera. So it really just made that data capability has really enabled us to be smart in how we're able to find AI companies and others who we can work with.
Great. Thanks, Greg. And I wrote this down on a slide because I remember it was something very powerful that you had said to me when we were prepping for this session, and I wonder if you could just speak to that a little bit more, which is AI starts with smart data and ends with smart insights. And I think that's, you know, you've given us some use cases, but maybe there are some other use cases where you can highlight that point.
Sure, yes, smart data gets smart insights. And it's all about the insights. It's very much sort of the right to left thinking, you know, whatever you want to do. And in order to get sort of the smart, by the way, first and foremost, getting smart data is hard, right? Data is very messy. It needs to be wrangled. It takes a lot of time to sift and work through. It's really, you know, we often would find people spending most of their time just getting to the data. Some of the more grunt work, the mechanical aspects, even by the way, just procuring data, getting the IP rights, getting it uploaded, getting it staged, and then going through all the preparation. And sort of the whole wrangling challenge is big. And then just actually getting to the level of insight. So we find our people, we're spending all their time, or 80% of their time, on trying to actually wrangle the data versus actually get to the analytics and get to the insights. So as a key example of sort of how we kind of were able to turn that around, take data, make it smart, and make it smart insights, you know, is one that I like to talk about quite a bit, is that we like to find pervasive challenges. And one pervasive challenge for us and many of our clients has been the ability to extract information, data that's embedded in documents. And those documents could be of many, many shapes and sizes. It could be emails, it could be financial statements, it could be contracts. So we asked ourselves the question, you know, is there a better way? Is there a better way than having armies of very smart people spend a lot of time trying to have to sift and sort through and read through these types of documents to extract and elicit insights? And we were able to actually leverage some natural language processing, machine learning techniques and build out a platform that allows us to put this against multiple use cases. whether it's giving our auditors the power to go out and automate the review of lease documents to make sure that that matches income statements, whether it's a tax practitioner who's reviewing invoices and we want to make sure that there's an opportunity to get the appropriate sales tax refunds, or M&A practitioners who are doing a post-merger synergy analysis and have to look at streams of contracts to be able to actually determine if there are some synergies out there. And so we were able to sort of take this data, which was not particularly, which was smart, but was hard to capture, and bring it all together using an AI platform that allows us to literally reduce what we use the term liberate. And we've liberated hundreds and hundreds of thousands of hours by deploying these capabilities across thousands of our practitioners and deploying it at our clients. So I think that's a really great example for us about how we're able to take the 80-20 rule, which had previously existed, of spent 80% of our time on the data grunt work, and turn it around, literally invert it to the 20% of the time getting the data, 80% of the time on the insights.
Thanks, that was great. Thanks, Craig. That's great insight there. And Boz, do you just agree with that, just before we wrap up here?
Yeah, I mean, I love that
Comment on
example
that a
because
little?
the data geek in me is like there's two really hard things happening there. This process that they've built is using natural language processing to infer meaning and data from these otherwise unstructured documents, and they're getting classified correctly almost every time. If it's an invoice, it's attached to the right company, or if it's a sales contract attached to the right company. So there's a lot of hard stuff going on behind the scenes, and just tons of time and cost saved for the customer. So it's a big win.
That's great. Well, thank you. I think we have to wrap. I've gone over my 5 and 25. I think I'm now 5 and 30. So I'm going to have to wrap it up here. But just in case, they already switched my presentation off. I was going to put a summary slide up, but that's not going to happen. So for those of you that are interested in learning a little bit more about smart data, Bastian is actually speaking about this at 3 o'clock this afternoon. We're going to be at the Oracle booth. Craig will be there for a little bit. And we'd love you to stop by and talk to us a little bit more about the 5 key considerations for AI success and adoption.
Thanks.